Drum roll for my guest. Drum roll.
Okala.
Oh my gosh. I cannot believe I am seeing you live.
Yes, sir. I
It's so good to see you. I am great. I am very good. I am very good. It's so good to have you. Everybody's excited. Everybody's like, I'm tuning in from Chicago. I'm tuning in from Massachusetts. I'm tuning in. And it's going to be amazing. I mean, your wealth of knowledge, of experience, and all these things are what we want to glean from today. And this is Bookie's place, my place. We don't talk about the accolades. We don't talk about the awards. We talk about the journey. We talk about the journey. We talk about the nuggets that can help somebody stand up. Because, this very unprecedented time in history. People have been home. People are jobless. People have nothing to do. And they're just there. In America, suicide rate has gone up. People are just upset with their lives because they found their identities in their jobs. Their job was who they were. I'm a banker, and they've been that for 20 years, and now it's taken from them. They don't know who they are. So we're going to talk about purpose, destiny, how to differentiate what your work is, what your job is what I do my purpose, or all these things. But we always start from the very beginning. You start with your story, tell us
Yep.
your story, and then we take it from there. Introduce yourself. I have introduced you before, but please introduce yourself and let's take it from there.
Okay, well, my name is Kunle Afolayan. I'm
My
into the
cousin.
world of
You're my
Avina.
cousin.
I'm into the world of film and television.
Hmm.
Yeah, I started as an actor, and then I decided to be making my own film. So I produce, I direct, I do business of film. I have a fashion line.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just an artist, pretty much. Because
You're
anything
creative.
art, anything music, anything film excite me. So yeah, so art excites me. That's it.
Art
And money
excites you.
excites me as well.
Of course, money makes the world go round. Yeah. So I have some questions, because I know your roots. I know where you're coming from. You're from Adelove, the greatest. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So when
mm.
you look back at your life, is that a plus for you or a minus? That heritage, is it a plus? Did you ride on it to get fame, or you had to go get yours? How did that help you, or how did that hinder your journey?
Well, I mean, it's for me, it's a plus. It's a plus because to a large extent, I think I've beat my father's record. So that's a plus, and also because if probably I was not born into that family, I probably would never have nurtured the idea of wanting to be a filmmaker. But look, it's one thing for your father to be. As a matter of fact, my father passed like 16 years ago.
Wow.
1996. No, is that 16 years or 26 years ago? That was
Wow.
26 years ago, and he never. I was yet to start all of these things then. He never knew what I was gonna turn. I didn't even know what I was gonna do or how I was gonna turn out. But being born into the family was good because, of course, I saw things growing up. I saw how films are made from a child's point of view. But that was not good enough to make you a filmmaker because filmmaking is not something you inherit. It is something you learn. All right.
Mm.
So yeah, yeah. So yeah, but somehow, I mean, the name has really helped because an Afolayan is an Afolayan. So yeah.
Yeah, so you better tell them. People don't know that me too, I'm
Have you
a fire.
now? Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So it was a plus for you. So I want you to, there are people right now that are home. They've lost their jobs, they've lost their source of income, they've lost their identity, and they got up. I mean, they're trying to get up. You know, they're down now. They're trying to get up. I want you to share a time in your life that you were down. You know, you were down. As a matter of fact, you know what? Don't give us abbreviated version. Start from the beginning. How you were born, where you were born, how you started showering there. Now we tell your story. You know, how you did the first movie, how you were rejected in auditions. All those things are things we want to hear.
Look, I'm always saying to people that I don't know much about the universe, but I know that sometimes the universe conspire in people's favor.
Mm,
Um, I don't know why, but I feel that if you're born to be great, you'll be great. And
mm.
of course, growing up, I saw a lot of films. Like, for example, I saw Ayomon by Ogunde.
You know,
I
that's my
saw
uncle, right?
yeah, So I saw Kadara by Adelove. I've always heard about Destiny, and then also we all go to church, and people will say destiny can be changed, and some people will say Obe sang and said my destiny can never be changed at all. So it's a bit confusing. All right, but I feel that even if your destiny is good, you can't sit at home and expect that destiny to.
Your choices.
Yeah, I think somehow if your destiny is good, somehow you have to, something must strike, all right, to get you to that point. Okay. Um, for me, my father, yes, was so famous and all of that, but of course, my father married a lot of women, a lot of beautiful women, um, and then gave birth to a lot of beautiful children. Okay, and at that time, his focus was mainly his work, and then he will always say to the children, "Look, I only owe you education.
Mm,
Okay, um, I only owe you education." And as at the time my father died, I didn't have nothing. I was just fresh, and by about completing university at that time, so there
mhm,
was really nothing.
mm,
And then growing up, my mother, because my father's wives, they were all living in different, all 10 women cannot be in the same house, so
mhm,
we
mhm.
all live, and the children
Separate.
comes to him weekend or something, but we all live differently. So look, I've lived in the worst accommodation you can ever imagine,
Mm,
because our mothers were struggling. Yes, they were part of the film business, but my father was the one enjoying his money.
mm.
Yes, okay, sorry. The song was by Sonny Ade, and he said, "My
Okay.
destiny can never be changed at all." Yeah.
Okay.
Um, and I'm gonna get to Sonny because KSA is someone that I believe that, look, his own destiny does not have part two. Because I don't know how someone can be doing the same thing for about 50 years, all right, and he's still there, and nobody writes. It's not like he's a perfect person, and all of his shortcomings, people would ignore them. It is called grace.
Grace,
All
exactly.
right. Me, I said my father that we have many children. KSA's children are like triple of my father's. But
Mm,
nobody, you can't see those faults if someone
mm.
has got grace. All
Grace.
right.
Ooh,
And it's not
yeah.
something you can buy. It's not something
Mm,
that, it is something that the universe will conspire,
to give you.
and make sure it is in your favor, And what is universe? Universe is all God now,
Mhm,
So so for me, I started really rough, but at some point I knew what I wanted to do. When I finished school, I ended up working in the bank, but I stayed there. I knew that was not meant for me, but I stayed
mhm,
there for 7 years, all right,
wow.
and acquired a lot of knowledge in
Mhm, mm. Network, 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 network. Don't,
work,
don't, 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 don't. Network, network.
so.
Okay.
That's it. So,
Network froze for a little bit. So
okay.
you stayed there for 7 years.
And I learned a lot, in administrative works, in corporate communication. I was in corporate affairs at some point, and I met with a lot of journalists. So I learned so much. But it got to the time in 2004. I said to myself, yes, they are paying me here, but this is not what I want to do. And then
Mm.
you see that fear. We all have that fear of, okay, if I
Stepping out.
leave now, what will I eat? Okay, if I leave now, what will happen to me? I didn't rely on anything. There was nothing. I didn't have savings. A lot of bankers don't have savings because, no, it's true. Because while you're in the bank, they will throw a lot of things at you, and you take loan to buy this one. You take loan to buy that car. You take loan. By the time you're done and you're leaving, they will tell you have to pay all of that, the money, and by the time all of the money is deducted, you have nothing to show for it. Okay, so at that point I said, look, I'm still a junior officer.
Mm.
This is a good time for me to leave. And then I left. Now leaving, I was home for 8 months,
Wow.
and I was trying to, because, like I said, someone said to me, Tunde Kelani said to me when I
Mm.
went to him, he said, Kunle, you can't. When I said I want to make a film, that was what I said to him. And he said, what do you know about
Mm.
making a film? That, do you think because your father was a filmmaker, do you think that makes you one? You know? And I said, well, he didn't make me. He said, no, so don't worry, you need to first go and learn. He said,
Mm.
filmmaking is like you being a lawyer. You need to study it. It's like you wanting to be an engineer. It's not
Mm.
something you say, oh, because I'm beautiful or I'm fine or I'm clinical, then it makes you a filmmaker. No,
Mm.
it's not going. Your looks will help maybe as an actor and maybe on red carpet, but for film, it's different.
Mm.
And I said, okay, thank you, sir. Then I went to
Mm.
enroll, and I went to film school. You know,
Mm.
and I
Olumide
came back.
Oyedeji saying hi. Olumide Oyedeji saying hi.
Okay.
Olu, you're
Olumide
coming on
now.
my show.
All
All right,
right.
go ahead.
All right. So I got back, and I set up Golden Effects in 2004. And I I met someone who agreed to share an office with me, and I was the only one and one office assistant in that office. And I got myself a laptop, and I invited someone to come and teach me how to edit. And look, that was how I started. But if I didn't summon the courage at that time
Mhm,
to say, look,
mhm,
this is not it.
mhm,
In fact, anytime they write stories in City People magazine, then, and they
mhm.
write about island big boys, my name is always there. Because as a banker, we collect salary, and you just go to Kurama, or you go to all of these places, eat correct fish and enjoy yourself. you know. But when you're passionate about something and you believe in that thing, all of the fear of the unknown, all right, you'll be able to conquer that,
Mm.
because that push and the passion is what will
Drives you.
keep drives you. And then I came back, set up the company, and I started with the Rakbada and all of that. But you see, I'm not the only one who is making film in Nigeria, and
Mm.
I won't be the last.
Mhm,
And there are people who started before me, and
mhm,
there are people who are my peers. All
mm,
right, but up till today, one day I googled my name, and I was reading a lot of interviews that I have granted, and I
mhm.
realized that I'm always repeating the same thing.
Cause it's the
You know,
truth.
so it means that I stayed true to my art. I stayed true to what I believe in. I stayed true to my ideology, and I'm always emphasizing on it. If you ask me a question today and you ask me in 10 years, as far as it's
Mm,
about work, I'm going to say the same thing. All right, and that has really helped me grow. Okay, and I remember the first interview I ever granted, in 2006. I think it
mhm,
was with Olumide, Olumide
Yonder.
Inyada, and it was a city. It was a Daily Independence then,
Mm-hmm,
and I
mm-hmm,
remember the headline was "Irapada will revolutionize the film industry," and Irapada
mm-hmm,
was my first film.
mm-hmm.
And not long after that thing came out, the film was selected in London Film Festival. It was selected in Pan Africa Film Festival, and all of that. So, um, I'll tie it to not just hard work. I work hard. I work extra hard. But there are people who work harder.
Mm,
All right.
mm.
Also, so that is where universe conspiring and your leader. That is where
Yori.
that's where it comes in. All right. Because look, when you say people are hard worker, there are people who don't baru, people who stay by the, I've been stay at the
Yeah.
bus stop and help people carry load. There are people who set up businesses and they sell boli, corn, roasted corn, and their what's it called? Their budget is usually very minimal, but they will use these budgets, right, to send their kids through school, and then their kids would become somebody, and then take them out of that poverty, and all of that. It For me, I think maybe the world has been arranged or ordained in
Mm.
a way. I don't want to believe that poverty is
Anybody's
or
portion.
exactly, but look, it is in a way, and we can't change it.
Wow.
I have some friends that are very realistic, and look, my Oriki is Akonde,
Mm,
but I have some friends who call me Akonda,
mm.
right? And they will say, and these are friends of 20 years, and the reason they started calling me that is because there is nothing
You
that
thought.
I have, if I have mentioned to them that I haven't come to pass. Secondly, I'm always saying to people that, growing up, our parents, yeah, they will tell us that if you want to do something, don't tell anybody. Oh.
Mm-hmm,
If you get
mm-hmm,
pregnant, don't tell them. Oh. If you
mm-hmm.
Okay, in my case, it is the opposite. Yeah, even though my mother used to freak out, but it got to a time I said to her that if I don't say it, it's not gonna happen.
Mm,
So once I
mm.
conceive an idea, if a rat is passing and the rat could hear me, I must tell the rat.
Wow.
I
Wow.
must keep saying it. I have to continue hammering on it, and that is the only way it comes to pass.
Wow. Wow.
So people, I believe we all have different destiny, and we all have different elijah, and we all have I don't like to go spiritual, but I'm always saying to people that when this COVID thing started, right,
Mm-hmm,
I said to people that, okay, how come nobody is in control? How come all the spiritualists could not control it?
mm-hmm,
How come no religion could subside the effect and the repercussion?
mm-hmm.
It simply means that yes, there is a supreme being, and it simply means that most of the things we do, we are not in control. So,
Mm.
so and when
So
you
let me ask the question as so are you saying we do because it's written or because God knows we will do? That's why it was written. Is it that I don't have control of, like, they just give me a script? Like I did script writing in Hollywood, right? And when you write script, it's already finished, right? And so they give it to the actor, actress, go and study it. They break it into characters and all that. Maybe I'll come and work with you, and all that. Anyway, but they break it into characters and all that stuff. So are you saying some people have a bad lot? Or is their decision that brought about that bad lot? Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you saying that
yeah,
some people have a good fortune and some people it's ordained to be bad, or they chose it and because they chose wrong, it became bad?
look, I think if I I think it works in the way that I'm not a prophet, though, and I'm not an authority
Uh-huh,
when it
uh-huh.
comes to these things, but I'm a deep thinker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, right, some people will get involved in very dirty things. And remember growing up, right? Our parents will always say to us that if you do evil, you will get evil.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
So in
Yoruba
the
saying that says, "Èyàn ò lè tajà yẹ̀pẹ̀ kó gbowó òkúta." Right?
okay.
You,
Uh-huh.
you, you can sell sand and you get paid
And
with
expect to,
stone.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
you will be
it
there.
doesn't work. You reap. And look, recently I'm gonna bring this in. I've been watching a lot of Korean films. I've been watching a lot of films. And when you watch these films, be it Korean, be it America, be it the beginning, in the end they must say somebody who plans evil or who do evil
Will always
must
be evil.
reap the results. So a lot of times, human being, right? We do a lot of evil, and we expect them to just disappear.
Mm.
And I have started believing because I've seen a lot of things happen in this
Mm-hmm.
my small lifetime, and I've
Mm-hmm.
started believing that when you do something that is so terrible, and you didn't have the grace to live long enough to repeat, your children will reap it.
Inherited.
Whether
Oh.
it's good or bad, whether it is good or bad. And I have seen it. I have seen people who are so rich and then they have all of this money, and at some point the money will just disappear, and their kids are working hard, but the kids will not be able to meet up, and the kids will be struggling even with all of the money that their father had, in the past. All right, except if there is one or two or three out of them who's got grace. All right, and that person's life will just be different from the others. All right, and like I said, I am not a prophet, but
Mm.
some of these things are just there in the open. If you look
Laws
inward,
that govern the universe. Yes.
I say to people, when it comes to talent, there are talents out there. I mean, like real talent. And when that line, talent is not enough, when it comes into play, I have a clear understanding of the meaning. Because there are, I've listened to a lot of people, a lot of talents music from really talented musicians, but they don't. You just realize that they don't blow like
Go anywhere.
Nigerians would say. They won't blow. But when you listen to them, you'll be like, why is this person not? How can this person not be there? Ori is there.
Mm.
All right. Ori is there.
Ori,
So
Ori is there. Somebody
Ori,
should do a song. The musicians, Ori is there. They heard it on this place. We will collect copyright if we hear any song. Ori is there.
you you know, so I mean, and that always beat me because I'm always like, okay, so what's this person gonna, how is he gonna survive? Because your industry, that industry, when you get into it, and maybe the first 2 years, everything was like boom, 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 boom. You forget that there can be the other side. A lot of people in that industry always forget that they, they go,
There's
and
another
I
side.
and I wonder why. Look, this is not something that is only peculiar to Nigeria. Let them go. Even in America, 50 Cent and all of those people, where are they? 50 Cent is
50 is a
doing
big
film. 50 Cent is even still doing well. I was gonna say, what's his name now?
Jaru, Maze.
Daru Mace, all of those guys. There was a time when you can't breathe. In fact, when you breathe them, right? There was a time like that. And again, there are people like Michael Jackson, may his soul rest in peace. Those are people that God, the grace that God gave him, and there's nothing anybody can tell me that Michael did that I'll take anything negative. And it is like that with a lot of people. I do not want to know. I want to have in my brain the Michael that I grew up knowing. As a matter of
That
fact, the
I
black
love.
Michael that
That
I
I love.
love, and I don't care that he transformed. I love him till he died. It's grace. It's something you cannot buy. How many were the Jackson 5 with the additional, is it Latoya and Janet and all of that? The same parents and all of that. But God just said you will be different. What can anybody do about it? When God says you stand out. I'm sure a lot of time his family, his brothers will beef him. I'm sure there are times they'll be like, is he the only one? I'm sure but there's nothing you can do about it. He didn't do juju. If it's Nigeria, they'll say maybe they have his own head. What
What
they
you
told,
say? They've
they will say
cooked him.
maybe they begged Shango before Shango gave them. That's why it's different. Or one priest prayed for them. No, it's not. That was his own destiny. And look, he dipped his hand in a lot of things. But even at that, he's like David. Some of us are like David. We will do things. God will say, this one is close
He
to my heart.
won't. I'm not
Ah,
going anywhere.
I will forgive him. So, I know he has offended me. I will take it out on him at some point. But he's a man close to my heart. I am a man close to God's heart.
Me too.
All right.
My
So, you know, you
everybody,
know.
everybody, just say I'm a man close to God's heart. So let's.
No,
Wow,
yeah.
this is blowing my mind
Mm,
because I'm listening to you and I'm seeing why you are succeeding. You're not. You're not leaning. You're not. It brings me to this generation. This
mm,
generation, they just want handouts. They
mm.
slide in your DM. They're asking for stuff. They're insulting you, cussing you out because you're not replying to their DM. And I'm like, why don't you go get yours? And there's somebody watching now saying, Uncle Kunle, so how can I get God to favor me? Do you have any clue of what we can do? No, really, because you're right. This is favor. Favor is not fair. It's just like I like who I choose to like. So what can I do to be in that, perfect favor with God where He looks at me and says, Bouqui'S all right, but my worry, I'll do it. I'll go. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm.
do you have anything that we can do? Because you've talked about laws, you've talked about consistency, you've talked about hard work, you've talked about self improvement, believing in yourself. What is it that I can do that can make God favor me?
I think it's one thing, right? I'm not saying I'm not a sinner.
Mhm,
I'm not saying I do not sin.
mhm.
But you get to a point in your life where you ask yourself that, okay, what kind of lie? As in, why do I need to lie? Or, okay, who should I lie to? Of course, a lot of men, right? A lot of strong men, most times we only lie to you women, especially when we want to do our shenanigans and all of that. And those are not lies to hurt. Those are lies to
To protect.
protect, yeah.
Mhm,
We protect
uh-huh,
ourselves and we protect you,
mhm, mhm.
right?
Tell that to yourself.
you know, but honestly, I'm always saying to people that I haven't prayed to God in a long time. I haven't said to God, God, give me.
Okay, okay,
That's what I
okay.
mean. I
Okay.
don't. No, I say thank you every day. I say thank you every second, at every interval. Sometimes I will sit like this in my house and I'll be like, why me? Why do I
Mm,
deserve this? Why? And when things are not all that, like when we're seeking things and they're not really coming,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always saying that um, maybe I've done something, and God needs to take it out on me. So I won't make any fuss about it. These days I don't. There's nothing is a must for me. All right.
Mm.
So when I wake up, or when I'm driving, or when I'm always saying, "Oh God, I thank you." I don't. In fact, every night when I get to my bed like this, and I want to step out, I'll say, "Oh Lord, I wish you." That is my own
Gratitude,
prayer.
gratitude,
Gratitude,
gratitude.
like every day, to say I survived today, to say I have eaten today, to say, oh, these are my children and they listen to me. Do you know what
Mm.
it is for you to have control of your home, and for you to have, things fall into place when you don't even make feels about it? I'm never against any religion, but I don't do religion. Yes, I used to go to church, in those days, but right now I communicate with God. All right, because I'm always saying, okay, so if I had gone to one pastor now and I said, okay, pray for me, then, and all these things are falling into place, the person will claim the glory, and then he probably will be tasking me. All right. And it's the same. If I had gone to one Afa or one Babalawo and I said, "Joeba mi wo Ifa wo kilo sokpe kinikan," but I realized that for me, God somehow has put me in a place where I don't have to bother or worry about
Mm,
those things.
mm.
So the little that I need to do is to keep giving gratitude
Gratitude. Someone
to
should pin it
God.
in the comments. Someone write it down. Gratitude is the key.
No,
Someone write
really.
it down. Gratitude.
you know
So
so
even when you don't have something and you
yes,
want it to come to you, you think
yes,
in advance on credit for it, right?
that no, that's it. And I look even in our field, right? A lot of the things we do, sometimes you want to shoot a film, you have set things, and then
Mm-hmm.
it start raining, and maybe you only have that location for one day, and then
Mm-hmm.
you beat yourself, and you be like, no, I'm supposed to shoot this thing today. I used to be like that. But it got to a point, I'm like, I'm not in control of this thing. So anything I'm not in control of, I don't allow it get to me anymore,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not in control of it. And you now realize that the next time you want to do that thing, if it's the next day or 3 days after, you now do it
Better,
better. It will
better,
now turn out
better.
better than how it would have turned out. You know,
Whoa.
yeah,
Gratitude is key. Gratitude
it
is
is.
key. And you know
It is.
what? It's a paradigm shift. And you don't have to change your location to have a paradigm shift. It
No.
starts in your mind. All you just have to do is fix how you're thinking. Change
Mm,
your mind. As a
mm,
matter of fact, that's what repentance means. If you break the word down in Greek, it means change your mind and don't do
yeah,
what you've been doing. So you're giving us practical tools here. You're
it
talking
is.
about things. I mean, you mentioned something that I want you to go back to,
Mm,
because a lot of people, they say, oh, I asked you to do something for me. You didn't do it. I'm going to show you when I get there. I hear a lot of kids, teenagers say that I will show my mom, I'll show my dad. You mentioned that you went to Tunde Kilani and he wasn't trying to break you down. He just told you what he saw with his physical eyes. He just
that's it.
said, boy, you can't do movies. What do you
Yeah,
know about movies? Which was a fact. But like
yeah,
you said, you can only control what you can control. What you can't
yeah,
control, you can't control. So you
that's
couldn't
it.
control what he said to you, but you
Mm,
controlled your response to it. So
mm-hmm.
instead of getting offended, you decided to use that energy
Take it,
to do.
and then that's it. That's it.
But tell us how you got to that point of not focusing on, and he did this to me, he said this to me. How did you tell? Because I'm sure it happened. Don't let's lie. We're human beings. You sat down that night and you were like, could the down, it's not fair. But how did you talk yourself out of it? That, get up.
Okay. You see, before I went to Tunde Kilani, I first went to Tadi Okidon.
Mm.
And that was after they did Hostages. I think
Mhm.
Hostages was done in 1996 or 1997,
Mhm.
because we did Shawarada in 1998. And then
Mhm.
I saw Hostages, so I went to him. And I didn't meet him. They said he went out. I said I'll wait. And then when he got back, I introduced myself. And I said, I'm Kunle Afolayan, I'm Ade Love's son. I just
Mhm.
want to come and tell you that I can act and blah, blah. And he looked at me and said, okay, put down your name there now. If we want to do any kini, we'll call you, or any audition, we'll call
Mhm.
you. And he said, sure, you're good. And he left. I was bitter. Like, does he not know who I am? Am I not Ade Love's son? You know, and all of that. So I left, and then I went to Tunekelani. But getting to Tunekelani, I didn't tell him I wanted to act, because what I wanted to do was actually to make film. And I'm talking as far back as, like, almost 30 years, 20 something years ago. And
Mm.
and when he said those things to me, and he said, Kunle, number one, education is key. You need to be highly educated to be a good filmmaker,
Mhm.
and all of that. But when we got close, because we became best of friend. He's my father, all
Mhm.
right? But
Mm.
we became like buddies. I befriended him,
Mm.
in a way that I'm in his house every Sunday, and all we talk about is film. TK never taught me. He never said to me, Kule, this is how to direct, because directing is not something you can't teach. Directing like that, no. But from all the conversations that we've been having, I'm always taking, when he says this, I will take it.
Understudying. You are understudying him.
Exactly. When he travels to festivals, he comes back, he brings materials. I'll see his picture on the cover of a magazine. I say, is it the only one? Why is it the one they are putting in French magazine, in Dutch magazine, and all of that? So I studied him, and I took what I wanted to take. Look, now, TK and I, we still spoke today. TK and I are so close that if he wants to do anything, he will run it by me now.
Mm.
And he's always saying to me that, Kunle, look, if I die now, I'm glad that I didn't die um,
Without a protege.
without a protege, and, that is enough for me. And when I still want to do things now, I tell him. But he's always saying, Kule, you are 10 times where he's always saying I'm 10 times where he is. But I don't see that, because look, ọgbọ́n ọmọdé, kí ni òwe yẹn náà?
Ọmọdé ò lè.
Ọmọdé ò lè láṣọ títí kó lákìísà bí àgbà.
Yeah.
You can't. So I'll always still say, even
Someone
if
please
I'm
help
gonna
me translate. Help me translate. Ọmọdé ò lè láṣọ bí àgbà kò like just
go
let
like
me tell people I watch that. You can't have rag. You can't have buffs like a bigger person. No, you
no, no, no,
cannot
no,
have
no.
clothes. Clothes
Look,
like
you can't,
your wardrobe can be full
your
of.
your 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 wardrobe of 1 billion worth, all right, is as worthless when it comes to an elderly person's rags.
Rags. Okay.
That's the best way I can put it. So
Mhm.
um so the point for me is this, right? uh
Mhm.
you have to first, you have to crave for knowledge in whatever it is you do. Even if it's pure water you want to be selling, you have to crave for knowledge. The people who have done it, how did they do it? You're not learning it so that you can do it exactly that way. You're learning it so that you will learn how to and how not to.
Mm.
That is why with film, they're always saying to us, and I tell people that, look, as a filmmaker, you have to you have to watch the bad films and the good films, because the bad films will teach you how not to make a bad film. And
Mm.
a good film will teach you how to make good films.
Mm.
You know. So guys, sorry that I have not attended to your messages. Oh, I mean, how are you guys? The
They're
people from
learning. We're
Baltimore,
learning. I see
everybody,
it too, but
Chihuahua, thank you for tuning in. We're still here.
we're still here, man.
So you can't. So all of these things, um, you have to sleep and dream it.
Mm.
If not,
Visualize it.
you have to
Visualize it.
visualize. It must be in your subconscious.
Mm.
You're sleeping, and I mean, anytime I'm doing a project, that is how my life is. I dream, sleep, wake that project. So nothing happens, overnight.
Mm.
No. Go and ask all the
Microwave.
successful people in this world. Some people who are even silver spoon, right? When you ask them their story, and I say this to a lot of people, right? If your father is rich,
Mm.
like growing up, you are butter, like coal. Because I know people who are butter who have never taken public transport, right?
Mm. Mm.
And then you have all of these things to yourself. Then by the time you're done with school, they will put you in one company and they'll say, okay, work here and all of that.
Mm.
Yeah, your parent they've really helped you. That is the role of a
Mm.
parent, right? Now,
Mm.
when it comes to motivating people, they will now call you and say, oh, come on radio, come and give us motivational talk. You now get there and you say, oh, growing up, I attended Atlantic All, and then they would fly us in a private jet to, Adesoye College, and then, I graduated from Harvard, and then, my father already set up this company that I run now, and then, I just drive my luxury. You know, all these youth on Instagram and Twitter today, they will abuse the person.
So the parents give them everything, but what made them successful? The
Exactly.
ingredients, the fight, the tears, the pain,
Exactly.
the determination. They don't teach them because now they don't want the kids to go through what they went through,
Yeah.
which they don't remember that was really what made them.
I'm always saying to my children, you will go through, because that is why I'm always say I'm always telling them that there are two sides to life. This life that they are enjoying now, um, um, it's it's a privilege,
Mm.
and they owe it to me. They should always thank me for it. And no, honestly, see, during this COVID and all of this lockdown, at least twice a week, we watch documentaries. All right, on YouTube, they've seen documentaries about sex slave, or all those people that they carry and they make them do. They've watched about that. There's a documentary about the farthest way to get to school or something, and this is about different places where children will trek 3 hours before getting to school. There are documentaries about house help in East Africa, how they are maltreated. So I show them all of these things so that they know
You
that
see
I
another
am
side.
Meji, right? But nothing, and those people, it's not like they have two heads. It's not like, maybe it's their destiny, or maybe
Back to what we're saying.
do you understand? Or maybe it's their parents' sins. All right, maybe it's, I don't know,
We don't
but
know.
we don't know. Nobody knows. All right, but I always let them know that, look, during our own time, our father was popular, but we didn't have luxury. We struggled through schools. My father died before I finished school, so I sponsored myself to school.
How did you do
Okay,
that?
no, because I had to start working, even in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, when I finished my ND, I worked at Mega Plaza, and I worked in the maintenance department. All right,
Wow.
and at that time, when people come to buy AC or they come to buy electronics, we deliver to their house. If they want to install AC, we install. I used to drill wall with drilling machine
Wow.
when I was like, I think 19 or 20. You know, so there's nothing, and this was where I was when a cousin of mine came and he saw me and he said, Kunle, okay, will you want to work in the bank? Okay, come
Mm.
and start asking Niko Kiniko. So I used to work in maintenance department, in Mega Plaza, right? So when that opportunity to work in Mega Plaza, when that opportunity opened, if I had turned it down, probably my cousin wouldn't have come and say, oh yeah, why you sending Mega? Maybe I
It's
wouldn't
all
have
connected.
exactly. But it is one
Wow.
thing for those things to come to you, is another thing for you to see them.
Recognize it. Oh, listen, it is another thing for you to recognize it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't prepare, the
Yes.
opportunity will present itself, but you won't even recognize it because you're not ready.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
wow.
You know.
You know
So
what?
yeah.
I want you to talk about that night that you are bitter, because what we do here is we equip people with practical tools, right? That night that you were rejected and you
Yeah.
were bitter and you still went back to understudy him. What did you do? Because what did you do? You must know. You must have done something. You must have said something to yourself that made you say, "No, I must." You understand? Because most of the time, those people can those kind of things. Rejection can make us offended. But what made you say, "I'm still going to understudy"? What did you do?
Okay, look, the thing is, I grew up seeing TK on my father's set. And on Taxi Driver, he was the director of photography. On
Mm-hmm,
Taxi Driver 2, on Yanuwura, he was the director of photography. And I used to see him with something, he used to hang something around his neck, and I'm always like, who is this man that wears,
mm-hmm,
jeans all the time with jacket
mm-hmm,
and all of that. And
mm-hmm,
so I have a picture of him in my head. And then when my father passed, and that time when he said to me that, oh, do you think because you had a love son you can do film? No, film is education. You have to learn. You have to kiniko. And he said, well, but you seem to have a good face. If we want to do a film, we can invite you for audition. If you do well, you can feature and blah blah. And I left. I was bitter. I was
mm-hmm,
sad. Like,
mm-hmm.
does he not know who I am? Am I not Ade Love
Do you
son?
know who I am?
Has he not worked for my father before? So why will he reject me?
Mm-hmm,
But the other part of me was saying to me,
mm-hmm,
do you have an option?
mm-hmm,
Because I said I didn't want to do what was obtainable. I didn't want to do
mm-hmm,
what everybody was doing.
mm-hmm,
Look, that was the time the Nollywood just started, and there were a lot of Nollywood films.
mm-hmm,
And I'll see those films, and some of them I love the stories. Like,
mm-hmm,
for example, Mortal Inheritance with
mm-hmm,
Fred Amata and Omoto. I love the film, but when I look at the quality, I always compare the quality to the
mm-hmm,
Ogunde and Ade Love films in
mm-hmm,
those days.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, maybe there should be a bridge here. All right, we can tell these great stories, but we need to go back to good production values, like the Adelov and the Ogunde used to do. And I said, the only person who can put me through that is this man. So I
Mm,
have no choice. I need to go back to this man.
mm.
All right. And I waited for him. So I kept in touch with him, and I would just call sometimes, say, I'm kini. Let's I'm kini.
So you
And then,
humbled yourself.
who am I? I beg.
No,
Not
because you
humble.
humbled. Those are key things that because when I look around, I like to
Mm,
self-examine a lot. But when I
mm,
look around, you see the proudest people saying, "Hey, me." But when you're proud, man, and you're like, you can't even see yourself because our
mm.
eyes were created to see out. So I
Yeah.
can see you now, I can see your flaws, but I can't see myself. When I
Mm.
need to see myself, I have to look through a mirror, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and if the mirror is broken, I have a false perception, false image of who I am, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're picking out these things. So when you tell someone that's proud, you are very proud, they'll be like, well, go look, you are me, you know. You see someone that's violent, you see them say, there was a guy on the phone. He was condemning someone. But boy, man, Paragon is a liar. He picked his phone and then he was saying, no, I'm in Surulere. I'm just by the, and he was lying. And he was vehemently condemning someone else lying. So we don't see ourselves. That's why we're picking out this. You've talked about humility. You've talked about self-development. You've talked about focus. You've talked
Yeah.
about believing in yourself. These are things that, you know, I want them to write down so that
Mm.
when they meet these obstacles, they know that, listen, Uncle Kunle was rejected, but he pulled through. Who am I? Because, you know, some people just say you didn't follow me back on Instagram and they'll start cussing you out. And I'm like, this entitlement. Okay, before you go, I know you have like 5 minutes before this thing cuts off. Talk to the new generation with this sense of entitlement. You have to give to me. You have to. They say, give me money. So even send the account number before they say hi. Please pay into this. And you're like, so what
Yeah.
do you have to say to the
No,
microwave
when
generation?
they no when they come and they come like that, block
Mm,
them. First delete the delete the message, and then you block them. Look, for
mm,
me, a lot of people come to me, and because I give it, you don't have to engage in conversation with everybody because not everybody will understand it.
mm,
But some people, you know, when you read through what they have written, some of
uh-huh,
them, you know, you figure that okay, me this person seems to have small sense, and those kind
uh-huh,
of people you can maybe correct them because sometimes ignorance out of
uh-huh,
ignorance,
mm-hmm,
you just some people don't know it, and they need people to put them through, right? So the when people come to me like that, especially those who want to do film, in fact, some of our colleagues, some of my peers, in fact, some of them will tag me as being arrogant, and
mm.
when people can, when they try to figure you and they can't just figure you,
Can't understand you.
and
They
they're like,
label you.
we've been trying to figure out this guy for 10 years, oh, but he keeps progressing. Then they will come and make friends with you. Those who can't make friends will be bitter forever, and their
Mm,
businesses will go down, and they will be rejected, and they will now start nursing high blood pressure. It is
mm.
not your fault.
Your
It is.
responsibility.
It is exactly. So a lot of youth, I noticed this online. It's misplaced priority, and
Mm,
these things a lot of times it's from home. All right, because an average parent now will say, "Ìyá tí mo jẹ mi fẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ mi jẹ." An average parent will now say, "Mo ń ṣiṣẹ́ fọ́mọ, èmi ò ṣiṣẹ́ fọ́mọ." And I'm always saying to my children that I'm not working for you. I am, but I'll give you what will help you stand in life. And
mm.
that is education. That is me talking to you. That is me putting you through in life.
Self-esteem. Yes.
But all of these things that I'm doing them for my old age so that you people, I won't rely on you. You won't come because kids of
Mm,
nowadays, their parents will send them to school,
mm,
and then when they finish, because I know a lot of people that kind of thing has happened to. Their
mm-hmm,
father will now need maybe small medical clinic or abroad, and they
mm-hmm.
are living in their father's house, so but they
It's
won't
gonna cut
even be
off in
able
one
to.
minute. It's gonna cut
Ah,
off in. Ah! Oh my gosh.
it's okay. Well, we've tried. I'm sure a lot of people, um, they got it.
Any last word?
Well, my master class is gonna run
28
on
seconds.
YouTube.
Okay,
Yeah, on
okay.
YouTube. Follow us at Cap TV, and the master class
Captain.
runs next tomorrow, Friday. But follow Cap TV, and you'll watch master class with Kunle Afolayan.